Welcome back. So last lesson we kind of figured out how we could create and retrieve a user from Firebase, right? Now this is awesome, and we could just continue working with actually creating these functions in here. We can make a login function right here that could take care of logging in. We could make a logout function right here that could take care of logging out, etc., etc. Now this is okay to do this, but it's a bad way to structure your code, because let's say in the future you guys figure out that Angular Fire or Firebase is just not the way to go. Since we populated or polluted all our code with Angular Fire, instead of actually adding some services that can take care of just getting data, working with data for you, it pretty much is going to mean that it's going to be very hard for you to clean up your code, and you'll have to make a lot of changes to kind of solve that issue. So we still want to be able to log in and log out, but we want to do this inside a service, and then we want to use these functions later on to kind of log in and log out. So that's what we're going to do this lesson. We're going to try and create a new service. Now, how do we do that? Well, step one is jump into Angular.io right here, and I'm just going to show you where you can kind of get information about services. There's a lot of others. I just think when I go into docs right here, I go into tutorials, there's a pretty good one inside the tutorial, the main tutorial right here about services. They explain why services make value, and they also explain how we can generate them. So let's just try and generate our first service right here. Now what we do is pretty much just we write ng generate service, and then we need to give it a name. Now we also need to explain where we want to place this. Now I want to place mine inside the auth folder. I want to place mine inside a shared folder, and I want to call it just auth, like this, auth. And notice I'm putting in the name as uppercase. There we go. Let's see what happens right here. Maybe it can't figure out the shared folder, but actually it was so nice and it could figure it out. So now we have an auth folder right here. We have a shared folder, and in there we have a service available now. And the other file we got was a spec file that we can use for testing later to actually test our service. But that's pretty much all we had to do. Now we have an auth service, and that service is going to provide a way for us to work with Angular Fire right here. So we're going to kind of use the Fire module not in here anymore, not inside the login component. Let's get rid of that. Just get it out of the way. Let's just remove this onInit thing. I don't want that either. And then we're going to jump into the auth service instead and just add that inside the constructor. So in the next lesson, we're ready to actually start really using this auth service in here instead.